Good Monday morning, everyone. I'm Poppy Harlow.
And I'm John Berman. This morning, a gigantic contrast between big and small, a lot and a little, huge and tiny. The president kicks off what might be his most important week yet in the White House, certainly his most ambitious. Yet he does it with the lowest approval numbers of any president at this point in the modern era by far. Now, that might be a problem.
It might indeed. Congress, meantime, has less than 5 days to pass a spending bill to avoid a government shutdown. And the president's insistence to fund the border wall in that spending bill, well, that's making that threat even more ominous. It's a deal breaker for Democrats, and even some Republicans this morning are balking. The deadline Friday, just before midnight, and just moments before the president begins his 100th day in office. Let's begin this morning with Joe Johns at the White House. Good morning.
Good morning, Poppy. Fights over government shutdowns are usually, well, I should say often very predictable in Washington, D.C. However, this has been a very unpredictable first 100 days, so difficult to say exactly what has happened. What is clear is that the President of the United States has sent signs that, as far as he's concerned, the administration and the Congress should do whatever it takes to avoid a government shutdown. Nonetheless, the president's messages, he's been sending over his desire to get funding in any spending bill for his border wall, seems to be muddling the message just a bit. His Homeland Security Secretary talking about that just yesterday on State of the Union.
I think it goes without saying that the president has been pretty straightforward about his desire and the need for a border wall. So I would suspect he'll do the right thing for sure, but I will suspect he will be insistent on the funding.
So the president does have an extraordinarily busy week this week. At 9:30 this morning Eastern Time, it starts with a telephone call to German Chancellor Angela Merkel. After that, the president is expected to make a very long-distance call to Peggy Whitson in the International Space Station. She, of course, is setting a record there, having been in space 535 days. From there, we go essentially all the way through the week, a variety of meetings and travel for the President of the United States. Among the highlights, certainly the President is expected to roll out his tax reform program, as well as give a preview of his tax cuts. That occurs later in the week as well. The president is going to meet with meet with the president of Argentina, and then on Saturday, of course, a very big meeting with a lot of the supporters, people who voted for him in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, to mark the end of the first 100 days. John and Poppy, back to you.
Yeah, a lot of activity this week, I think, probably hoping to send the message that activity equals accomplishment.
Progress. Yeah.
You know, critics may not see it as the case. All right, Joe Johns at the White House.